Okay, guys, so this is day 2 of 6E2.3. So 6E2.3 deals with the formation of soil. So we're going to talk about first, what is soil? So first things first, though, go up to Miss Raddick's desk, go up to my desk, and ask for the new pre-test. Make sure you've turned in all your old ones, and now you're going to ask for this one. Then you're going to pause this video and you're going to complete the pretest first. Okay, so go ahead, pause this video, go get the pretest. Okay, welcome back. So now let's talk about what soil actually is. Imagine a handful of soil in your hands. Let me move that for you guys. Sorry. Okay, so what is soil? Soil is a mixture. It's a mixture of rocks, minerals, living things, a bunch of stuff into a fine-grained material. It's not just dirt. It's so much more important than just dirt. It's a recycler, a filter, a purifier, and a storehouse. It recycles dead organisms into the building blocks of new life. Whoops. It transforms toxic substances into non-toxic substances. So it takes something poisonous, it can actually take the toxicity away. It renders pathogenic organisms harmless. That means things like bacteria that can hurt you. The soil traps them and stops their ability to hurt you. And it purifies and stores water. That's probably the craziest thing soil can do. It stores water underground and keeps it clean. So a lot of people think dirty water means dirt in water, and that's bad. Actually not the case. A lot of times, water that's actually clean may look the dirtiest, but that's for a different day. So again, emphasizing soil. Soil is a dynamic living system which functions as the interface between land and sea, the living and the dead. It connects all of those things together. It's the reason we have fertility and life on this planet. So we're going to dive into what soil is in this unit, but I did want to kind of introduce it as something so much more than dirt. So soil is made, sorry, hold on, let me get rid of that. Okay. Soil is a thin layer of material covering the Earth's surface and is formed from the weathering of rocks. So big rocks are weathered or chipped down into smaller rocks, which are weathered and chipped down even to smaller particles. And then those are even broken down into its mineral particles. And then it's contained. So soil has minerals, organic materials like carbon, dead organisms that are decomposed, or feces, things like that. So mineral particles, organic materials, air, water, and actual living organisms like worms and bacteria and insects. Those all interact to make up soil. So that's what all makes up soil. So what is weathering and what does it actually do? So weathering is broken up into two ways to weather. It can be physical weathering or chemical weathering. But the main thing is weathering changes the Earth's surface. It breaks, wears, abrades, which just means abrasion, which just means hard hitting, or chemically alters rocks and rock surfaces. So that's what weathering does. It changes the chemical makeup of a rock sometimes, and it can make it easier to break down. But over time, it will break rocks into smaller pieces or sediments, like boulders, to clay. So if you look outside, clay is that orange rock that makes up the majority of our area. Thus why Clayton is Clayton, for the clay. But it used to be something like this, like a huge boulder that just gets weathered and weathered down into smaller pieces. Look how this rock was weathered down. Look at the difference. It was weathered down from something huge into something smaller. Same here. We see these holes forming due to weathering. So types of weathering, the two main types are physical and chemical. Physical weathering is the breaking down of rock into smaller pieces by physical means. So that means physically, like punching into your own hand, physical, breaking down of rock. This does not change the rock chemically, it just makes the rock smaller. So agents for this weathering, or how these things are weathered down: ice, wind, water, gravity, plants, and animals. They are all responsible for physical weathering, or just the physical breaking down of rock. The other type of weathering is chemical. Chemical means a chemical reaction was occurring that breaks down the rock. And this actually does change the chemical composition of the rock. Just like we did with those pumpkins. We changed the chemical composition. We got a reaction. We made products that are different than the reactants, just like photosynthesis and cellular respiration. So water, believe it or not, water is one agent that can cause chemical weathering once it's in acid. So if we have acid rain or acid, well, that's acid precipitation, that's acid rain, or acids in our groundwater due to pollution, or acids in our living things due to pollution, that acid will actually chemically change the rock, but it will also cause it to weather down and to become in smaller pieces. All right, so how do we get soil from rock? How does it happen? We know it weathers down, but what does that process actually look like? That is called succession. So primary succession is where there are no biotic living things. Look at this right here. There is nothing but bare rock there. Nothing. No living things whatsoever. So that's how we first start an ecosystem, just by bare rock, just by bare earth. Then lichens start to grow. This is a lichen. A lichen survives by eating rocks. I am not making that up. They survive by eating rocks. So these are the stage with the lichens in it. But lichens are living things. So they don't live for forever. And they will eventually die. When these lichens die, they fall to the ground. Now they've been weathering down these rocks because they eat rocks. So there's smaller rock particles collecting here. So these lichens fall into those smaller rock particles and they actually add organic material. So organic material is added. Now, decomposers are going to arrive now. So bacteria are going to get really excited because they eat dead living things. So when the lichens die, they become food for the decomposers. So now we have dead lichen and decomposers like fungi and bacteria that are now collecting in this area, and they're able to survive. So they're not only collecting in the area, but they're surviving. So they're staying put and they're flourishing, they're growing. So now we have a bunch of organic material that's now been added to the soil, which we know is great fertilizer. So now we have all these extra minerals and needed things, needed vitamins and needed organic compounds that allow life to happen. So now plants can start to grow. So now when a seed gets dispersed in this area, it can survive. Now, do we think a big tree can survive right away? No, definitely not. But what the lichens do, the lichens take sand, sorry, that thing keeps getting in the way. They take sand and they add organic material to it, which makes fertile soil. So you can see how this starts, the stages. Now, this takes a while, but we need a lot more soil to have bigger trees because look how big the roots are. Grasses and stuff have really small roots, so they don't need as much space. So they can grow when it's just a little bit of fertile soil. But look how it gets bigger and bigger and bigger because our soil gets bigger and bigger and bigger. We have more weathering. We have more organic material being added. We have more minerals being added over time. Now, remember, things don't just like combust and, appear. They appear through movement, through transportation. These lichens got here because maybe there was lichens over here. And when they dispersed their spores on their reproductive agents, they landed over here via the wind or water, and they were able to colonate. Same with bacteria. Bacteria just don't magically show up. They've been transported by something else to get here. And then same with the plants. We have seeds that are transported, and those seeds are able to succeed. Big plants are not able to succeed. So here we go, showing this. Hold on a sec, guys. Aaliyah just walked in. I'm almost done with this, and I'll get right to you. If you're taking a test, you need your Chromebook. Go ahead and go get it. Okay.
Is it for 6.E.2.3? I need it.
Yeah, just say whatever your progress report needs. Okay. So, sorry, I'm back. So this is, again, showing succession in all of its stages. from bare rock to lichens. You can see those little spots on the rocks. Break it down. Now we're able to have